Welcome to Level Table Live, Level Legal's monthly legal services live stream. I'm Joey Sieber, CEO of Level Legal, and as usual, I'm co-hosting with our Director of Client Solutions, Daniel Bonner. We are here and excited to explore 10,000 hours of eDiscovery, a perpetual content machine that is Doug Austin on AI, hyperlinks, and the state of the industry. By the end of our time, we're going to talk about how Doug became eDiscovery's crazy blogger guy, hot topics such as AI, hyperlinks, and whether they qualify as attachments, and trends to watch in 2024. Welcome to Level Table Live, Doug.
Thanks, Joey and Daniel. It's great to be here.
Doug has 30 years of experience in eDiscovery and legal consulting, software product management. He had long stints at providers Cloud9 and iEDiscovery. He is now the editor, as probably everybody here knows, of eDiscovery Today, a daily blog on eDiscovery, information governance, cybersecurity, data privacy, and also case law. Full disclosure, we are a sponsor of his site, but we're going to be objective here. I would say that Doug is a perpetual content machine because more or less he has written a daily blog on eDiscovery since 2010. I don't think there's anybody else in the world that could say that, and nobody else that could generate that much content. It's not just content, it's strong content. Doug has won awards, particularly 3 times J.D. Supra's Reader's Choice Award. He's presented at lots of conferences. The last time I saw him present was, I believe, the University of Florida eDiscovery Conference, but he's been at Relativity Fest, ILTACon, Legal Week, you name it, and he's been there. Finally, full disclosure again, Doug and I were at Baylor at the same time, just a few years ago. We didn't know each other then. Let's get started, Doug. You ready?
Yes.
All right. We call this episode 10,000 Hours of eDiscovery because, of course, Malcolm Gladwell made that term famous. Writing that 10,000 hours of intensive work in a particular field makes you a master of the field. And your daily blogging habit for 14 years now certainly qualifies. How did this begin?
10,000 hours to me it makes me feel really tired. As you mentioned, I've been in the industry 30 plus years, managed projects before there was even an eDiscovery, Let's Support projects, and then eventually our discipline became known as eDiscovery. You mentioned Cloud9 as one of my former companies. I went to work for Cloud9 back in 2010. And on my first day, the CEO and co-founder, Brad Jenkins, took me to lunch and he asked me 2 things. First off, he asked if I did any marketing. And I told him I'd done a little bit here and there, written some content on websites and so forth. And he said, great, you're our director of marketing. I already had 1 job, now I have 2 jobs. And then the other thing is he said, we've got a blog all designed, ready to go. We just need content for it. And I said, great, what's the name? And he said, eDiscovery Daily. And I said, that's a terrible name for a blog because if it's eDiscovery Daily, it's going to have to be daily content. And I thought about it and I thought, well, that's probably a good way to get people used to reading it. So we'll try it for a while and see how it goes. Then I wound up doing it almost 10 years for Cloud9 while also being VP of products and services. Then I left Cloud9 right after the pandemic started and reached out to a few folks like people do when they leave a position. And Craig Ball, Mary Mack, and Kaylee Wallstedt at EDRM both reached back out to me and said, hey, we want to help you get a new blog started. So they were great and supportive and helped me with some support and EDRM with some promotion once the blog was launched. That was nearly 4 years ago now that the blog was started. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be at first, but it's actually turned into a business, which is very gratifying for me. Obviously, not all of it is originally my generated content. A lot of times I'm covering things in the industry, best practices, trends, what have you. I have a number of partners. Level Legal is one of those partners. And one of the great aspects of that is you all are putting out great thought leadership and great best practices and information like that I'm able to bring to the industry through the blog. It's really a crowdsourcing in terms of how the blog has really managed to develop and grow. It would really be very hard to write an original post day in, day out. But one of the things I'm able to do is really find things that I think would appeal to readers and would be educational to readers and continue to try to bring them through the blog from a variety of sources, including partners like you. I've got several educational partners who are providing great content and thought leadership and what have you. I also cover generally 6 eDiscovery case law rulings a month because we do a monthly webinar on EDRM where I moderate the panel with Mary Mack and Tom O'Connor and Judge Peck. You get a chance to see what the courts are doing. So it's a variety of things. And then other things are a little more ad hoc depending on just what comes up. And sometimes it'll be breaking news that I just work it in. It's really a variety of ways to come up with content.